Hey guys, Cody with CJC Off-Road, and today we're going to be answering another question that we get quite often from you guys. And that is, can I install a Carli 3-inch kit on a 2014 or newer Ram truck in my driveway or in my buddy's garage, etc.? You know, you guys see our videos and oftentimes we're using a 2-post lift and we have a bunch of specialized equipment, and we know most of you guys don't have that in your garage. So what we wanted to do, we'll just make a video. It's not a thorough install video, but it's more of a video showing the different stages that you might run into, the different, how should we say this, the more challenging parts of the installation, what you might run into, some tips and tricks on how to basically get through those steps a little bit quicker and not spend your whole Saturday afternoon wrestling with 2 bolts. So with that, we're gonna put this truck on the lift just so it's easier to film, but really this is just gonna show you those couple choke points on the installation that might be tough for you guys who've never done this before. So we're gonna get this thing racked up and we'll start showing you how to do it. So we're gonna continue getting the truck pulled apart right now. As you can see, we've got it in the air behind me. However, if you are working on your driveway using jack stands, one quick tip I can say is to remove the frame side of the track bar, the frame side of the sway bar, as well as the bottoms of the shocks. Doing that on the ground really releases a lot of tension, so when you jack the truck up and set the frame on jack stands and then lower the axle, it basically just allows the coil springs to fall out, and it takes away any points where tension could build up from things kind of being stuck together, and it'll really help smooth out the install process. Okay, so the first major piece of advice we'd like to give to you guys, besides the setting of the track bar, which actually we have a completely different video for, that'll be in a link down below, is gonna be getting the Carli radius arm drops on. Now they basically cradle these factory radius arm mounts above me, and basically what we've seen is the inner surface where the nut goes against can actually be kicked towards the center of the truck, and that prevents the Carli drops to basically act as a sleeve from sliding up and over. So what we typically do is just preemptively we'll grab a large crescent wrench. You don't need one this big, this one just is pretty useful all around the shop, and we'll put it on there and we'll just essentially bend this tab inward just a little, or outwards from the center of the truck just a little bit. Now it doesn't require an insane amount, you don't need to flare it, and if you see a curve, you've probably gone too far, but it's just enough pressure to just allow that Carli drop to slide on perfectly smooth. Another thing you can do, if your truck actually has any damage right here from sorted use in the field or etc., you may want to shave that down with some sandpaper or something like that, just so this drop will slide on pretty easy. Okay, so this isn't really much of a tech tip. It's more to show you guys that call and ask just how much drilling, cutting, grinding is involved with installing one of these kits. This is the rear track bar drop. It's gonna require 4 holes to be drilled. You basically use a factory bolt to index the overall bracket, and then you're gonna drill 4 half-inch holes and put the hardware in for that. It does help to have the shocks out, the coil springs out, so you can go ahead and get your full range of movement in here. You also want to make sure you have a fresh bit, because there's nothing worse than drilling a factory frame with a bolt or with a drill bit that takes about a half hour to do 1 hole. So definitely get yourself a fresh bit. Another thing that helps with the rear is to use a stubby bit if you have access to that, which I know is a real specialty tool. But what you can also do is unbolt the exhaust clamp and rotate the exhaust a little bit in order to get a full-size drill in there. So Luke's gonna go ahead and get this drilled out. He's gonna show you how he does it. He does most of our installs on the rear at our shop and can knock them out pretty quick. Beyond that, we're gonna just show you a few other simple steps on this platform, and we're good to go. All right, so for the last part of the radius arm drop installation, you're gonna use this bushing or drill guide that Carli suspension includes. One thing we recommend doing is either wrapping it or the radius arm drop in either masking tape or electrical tape, and that's mainly just to keep the guide itself from marring the finish on the drop. But make sure to use the drop, because it really does help guide that half-inch drill bit through the back side, and it lands the drill bit perfectly every time on the inside drill. All right, so one of the last holes that you're gonna drill is gonna be the front bump drop bolt, the mounting bolt for the front bump drop. And that is gonna use a single self-tapper. Now, we typically just use I know that Carli recommends using a punch and getting in there and marking it, but that's really hard to do, even with the truck on the lift. So usually what we do is we will just hold the bump drop itself up in the cup and then use a drill bit to drill it out. Now, be extremely, extremely careful when setting that self-tapper in. A, you wanna use the exact drill bit that Carli recommends, and B, you don't want to over torque it. As soon as you feel it want to stop, stop. Do not use an electric drive or anything like that, because you can either A, strip the hole out that the self-tapper goes into, or B, you can break that bolt, which is going to be extremely hard to extract, especially if you're on the ground or trying to work around getting, you know, a bolt extractor up into this cup. Beyond that, that's pretty much the last hole you're gonna drill, and that's counting the hole that you drill for the radius arm drops, the holes that you use for the track bar drops. Once you have these, that's pretty much it for the more unique aspects or something you might not be familiar with in installing one of these kits. But we've also included plenty of other clips of just these parts going on. And again, if you have any questions on how to install it, you know, install time or anything like that, feel free to give us a call or shoot us an email or comment down below and we'll be happy to help you out.